everyone, this is Leslie, aka the Blaxican Kid, and today I have a very special video. So I'm going to continue doing the Educate Yourself series, and for number 3 we are going to be talking about reproductive justice. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so some her story. In 1994, 12 Black women came up with the term reproductive justice. It wasn't officially coined until 1997, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So the reason why these 12 Black women came up with this term was because they had attended 2 conferences in 1994, and the latter was in Cairo, and that's where they kind of discovered that the reproductive rights movement wasn't really including the needs of Black women and other women of color, or low-income women, and so they wanted to essentially have a movement that did include all the needs, because reproductive justice really does acknowledge that while keeping abortion legal is really important, it's not the only thing. So as I mentioned before, Sister Song officially coined the term in 1997. However, I will be putting some more information in the down bar about who Sister Song is, what they do, as well as the names of the 12 Black women that came up with the term. I'll insert them here. And it's really important to acknowledge that these Black women came up with this term because the reproductive rights movement was only catering to middle-class, cis-het white women. So the Sister Song definition has 3 parts to it. The first part says that a person has the right to decide if and when they will have a baby and the conditions under which they will do so. The second one says that a person has the right to decide the options for ending a pregnancy. And the last one says that a person has the right to parent children they already have in a safe and healthy environment with the necessary social supports to do so. And I think this last one is really, really important because it acknowledges stuff outside of abortion. And I think this is why reproductive justice is all-encompassing. So oftentimes on social media and even at conferences, I'll hear people using reproductive justice and reproductive rights interchangeably. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that they are not the same thing. So I'm gonna do a bit of a breakdown. So reproductive rights deals with the legality, it deals with laws, keeping abortion legal. Think Roe v. Wade, think repealing the Hyde Amendment. And as mentioned before, this specific movement has always kind of kept the interest of middle-class cis-het white women in mind and not others. So the next distinction I want to make is for reproductive health. When we think of reproductive health, it's really important to think of service providers and abortion clinics. So it's really important to acknowledge that not all service providers are abortion clinics. Some service providers actually just offer contraceptives or breast cancer screenings, hormone therapy, all these things. And a lot of the times when we hear reproductive health, we only think of abortion clinics. So it's also important to acknowledge that there are things called crisis pregnancy centers or CPCs that are fake clinics, but that's a whole other video. Okay, and lastly, reproductive justice. Reproductive justice is led by and for women of color. It can also be used as a framework. So a reproductive rights organization can use a reproductive justice framework, so kind of reproductive health organization. But we do have to acknowledge that reproductive justice does definitely take into account these other barriers that people face. Reproductive justice is also about access, so not just access to abortion, but access to the necessary things people need to live healthy and successful lives. So as I mentioned before, reproductive justice takes into account so much more than just abortion. So reproductive justice is environmental justice, it's immigration justice, it's food security. Reproductive justice is protecting queer families. It's ending incarceration. It is so much more, because it acknowledges that while people should have the right to make decisions about their own bodies, there's so much more than that. So I hope that you learned something in this really quick video. The reason I wanted to make it quick though is because there's just so much more that reproductive justice is, and I think that this video could turn really long, but these are the basics. I definitely urge you to do more research on your own, especially if you're interested in reproductive justice. I think that the way I found that it was my passion was because it incorporated all these things that I was already passionate about in like just a really clear way. Yeah, so with that in mind, I leave you with this quote by Audre Lorde, and it goes, "There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives." So I encourage you to think about that. And also do some more research on reproductive justice organizations and see how maybe you can help and contribute to the movement. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.